So this inflow and outflow are actually, this is simple way is opening cash, add inflow, add out less outflow, cash flow. This everybody knows. Now here only cash and cash equivalents, right? What it has done more than what we know. This is a normal way everybody knows. Anybody you ask them, they will tell you. Any Chinese of level 12 also will tell you, yes sir, this is what we know. Or even younger, smaller class children also can tell you. But what is important here is we need to segregate into these three parts: operating, financing, investing. That segregation. And we don't start from here to here. We just put it like this, just to give you a perspective. Under these categories, this is fixed, and you find the net. It can be inflow slash outflow, net of this. Then you take opening cash equivalent. If you adjust, that means from the top you just brought it down, and what do you get? Closing cash equivalent. It's only a structure. That's it. What I told earlier was the same is valid here. Only that it's a structure here where you're just doing it in a particular format where the inflow and outflow are being identified in a different method: operating activities, financing activities, investing activities. You are identifying the inflow and outflow under these categories and take the net of it. Add to that opening equivalent, cash equivalent, you will get closing cash. This is what is the structure of your cash. Now let us look at the theory, how it is coming. Now see, cash flow statement should report cash flows during the period year as classified as principal revenue generate producing activity that are not investing and financing. Investing activity, that acquisition of disposal of long-term assets, other investments, and not included in cash and cash. Financing activity is the result of changes in the size and composition of the owner's capital, preference share capital. So basically, this is where fixed assets, etc., will come. This is where investing, that is your capital related assets, stuff will come. Dividend, all those things will come. Therefore, closing balance of cash and cash equivalent less opening is what decrease in the cash and cash equivalent during the year, which is what, as I told you here, this one, the difference. This is what is the net increase decrease, this one. Okay. So that is attributable, that difference is attributable because of what reason? Operating activity. What is, how to calculate cash generated for operating activities? That is EBIT plus non-cash items plus minus non-operating items, adjustments for working capital changes, tax paid, cash from operating. This will give you cash from operating. Investing is changes, increase, decrease in investments and long-term assets. Long-term assets items should only be considered here. Financing activity, changes, increase, decrease in capital and long-term liabilities. Long-term liabilities should only be considered. Now, there are two methods. An enterprise should report cash flows from operating activities using either direct method or indirect method. Direct method is where major clause of gross cash receipts and gross cash payments are disclosed, or indirect method wherein net profit or loss is adjusted to the effect of transaction non-cash nature, any deferrals or accruals of the past or in the future cash receipts or payments of items of income or expense associated with the investing or financing cash. So here, what you need to understand is that this what is given, there are two methods. And in that, this method of operating activity is indirect, what is given here. I'll explain what is indirect and direct. But you need to understand that these two methods, under these two methods, cash flow, operating, investing, and finance. Mind you, here only there is a segregation. Direct method, indirect method. As far as investing is concerned, financing, there is no change when you are doing direct method or indirect method. So you don't have to look at it at all. Only in the case of operating, you have to do it two different ways. Now, in a simple example, which we have already discussed once, I'm going to explain what is indirect method and what is direct method. When we discussed branch, we did that. So, when you are doing direct method, when you are doing, please listen carefully. When you are doing direct method, you take only this. That is direct method. In debtors, in creditors, that means payments you will take. In creditors means you take the payments. In debtors, you take only the cash receipt. That is what is the direct method, right? Whereas in indirect method, you will be taking this, you will be taking this, and you will be taking this. How do you take this? By taking P&L balance. So that means when you do that, you'll have to take the P&L balance, profit, and do some adjustment for non-operating items or something which is coming under investing and financing. That also you have to adjust because that is separately taken. So it cannot have an impact in the P&L. That effect of investing and financing you have to remove. Any non-operating you have to remove to get the operating profit, and then you have to take the movement of closing to opening in debtors. That is under indirect method. Direct method means very simple. Just take this. Direct method means just take this. This is direct method. Indirect method means you have to take this, this, and this. All these three are in indirect. As far as investing is concerned, it is always direct method. They don't have to think like that. It is only one method. There is no two methods for that. That means only the payments you have to take basically there. Financing also same. Whichever account we are talking about. So how we are going to do now the problem is, so please if you want take it down this one. If you want. Just for you to remember, please take it down. This part. So now we are going to do a problem to understand how to handle this. So what we'll do is I'll just